Android 12 may not be here in a full release capacity at least until the latter half of 2021, but that hasn't stopped us dreaming up a wish list of things we really hope to see in the next OS build. Thanks for watching 9to5Google here on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe, and then tap the bell icon to be among the first to watch our upcoming videos. So there were quite a few people disappointed with Android 11, which felt a little harsh. Google can't really be expected to completely reinvent the dominant mobile OS year over year. We do agree though that a certain number of core features are still glaringly missing from the base build of Android. Of course, if you do want added features and functions, there are plenty of third-party skins that actually offer much of what we think Android 12 desperately needs. Granted, the implementations and operation varies from OEM to OEM. There is no denying that Google does add features to Android. For the most part, they tend to be more elegant and more interoperable with the OS wholesale. But of course, here is our relatively short wish list of features we really hope to see in Android 12. The live captions feature was one of the coolest additions within Android 10, but apart from the under-the-hood improvements, we really haven't seen much by way of development of an admittedly solid feature. A really neat option would undoubtedly be the ability to export captions generated when watching video, for instance, or even when listening to music. We thought this might be a really good option because when using the fantastic Google Recorder app, which uses some of the same underlying technology, you can export transcribed audio to a Google Docs or text file. So why not just add the option for live captions? It would be really useful, especially for things like Google Duo or Google Meet conference calls, where taking notes can be distracting, and it would be a real time saver. It's absolutely shocking to think that a scrolling screenshot capability is still missing from the core builds of Android. We saw some pretty major tweaks to the screenshot UI with Android 11, and even evidence that scrolling screenshots might finally arrive. At the moment, the only way within Android One and Pixel experience to achieve a scrolling screenshot is to use a third-party app or just use the inbuilt screen recorder. Heck, the OnePlus method is probably the best we've tried and proves that it won't be too difficult to add, so it's about time Google did add scrolling screenshot capabilities. The updated media resumption controls and new quick settings panel for current playing media is pretty solid compared to previous iterations of Android. It is more cohesive, but it lacks some basic controls when you're playing certain media within Android 11 currently. It would be nice in Android 12 to have extra buttons for quickly leveling the volume, and more importantly, being able to cast to Chromecast enabled hardware without having to dive into the application playing the audio themselves. How neat would it be to take something that iOS users already have and just put an Android spin on it? Well, the Google Discover feed seems ripe for some customization options out of the box. The widgets feed on iOS feels like a poor imitation of real widgets, but objectively speaking, it's a great way to hide or at least quickly hide widgets and keep them tidy. The Google Discover feed is a great place to get news and updates right there on your home screen just by swiping right. Well, how about in Android 12 we get the ability to add some basic widgets in a manner similar to that of iOS? We think it would be great for tickers or for things like the weather, stock prices, directions to a location, or just about anything that you would live normally on your home screen. As an optional extra, we think it would at least break up that pure news feed element and maybe make sense to people for whom home screen widgets can clutter an otherwise minimal setup. A notable complaint since Android 10 has been the notification shade toggle layout and its limitations. At the moment, it's a very fair complaint, and we think it's about time that Google offered a little more customization here. You should really be able to change the rows and columns of toggles visible or usable when you fully swipe down that notification shade. It's high time that we were also offered some greater customization options for the awesome Always On Display feature. The current options are limiting, and although well organized, we really need to get some enhanced clock styles which have appeared in previous previews and betas, and maybe we might also get the ability to change layouts of specific on-screen information. We're not asking for anything quite like the OxygenOS Canvas AOD feature, but a few tweaks and options wouldn't be a bad thing, especially as it's a prominent feature on Pixel hardware especially. One feature that irks as soon as you use a Pixel or Android One device is the frustrating need to confirm your PIN when unlocking your device. Most other Android OEMs such as Samsung have already been baking in the ability to just accept your PIN when the correct combination has been entered for quite a while now. It's a real time saver and one that kind of just makes sense. We think Android 12 should really add the option as standard so that we can at least toggle this during the setup process, or at least enable it within settings menus. We're sure it would make your device no less secure, and it just removes a redundant step throughout the unlocking process. Often when you're setting up a brand new device, you probably slap on a third-party launcher, including that of Google's own Pixel series. One of the biggest reasons is the limited nature of the Pixel launcher that comes pre-installed. While it's a fine stock option, it doesn't really offer a ton of controls beyond some basic grid layouts, font styles, and icon shapes. It would be really great to get some further customization options akin to the biggest launchers such as Nova and Launcher within Android 12. Things like being able to just adjust the transition animation between pages, tweak the dock height, or just hide the status bar would be a great start. During the Android 11 developer preview phase, we found evidence of Columbus, which would let you do things like invoke the Google Assistant by double tapping the rear of your smartphone. The feature has never really come to fruition, but is actually now available on iPhones through iOS 14. You can activate the option on Android using a third-party app such as Tasker to utilise the functionality, but it would be really great to see Google fully embrace this activation method within Android 12 as a shortcut for activating things like the Google Assistant, or maybe even just toggling the flashlight. We can imagine it would be a wholeheartedly welcomed addition. Audio is another area where Android really needs some effort to be placed. The current options within the sound and vibration tab really aren't sufficient for all types of audio. Take for example system sounds like taps and interactions. You can't actually actively adjust them in the core build of Android 12. We think that Google should add more enhanced options for audio control within Android 12. Surely it wouldn't be too difficult though, as they could just flat out copy Samsung's system volume toggle that has been available within One UI for quite some time already. Throughout 2020, I've taken up gaming on my smartphone probably far more than I would have done previously, thanks in part to Google Stadia's game streaming platform. I now feel like I've been missing out hugely, as gaming on your Android phone isn't too bad an experience with a larger display. My own personal biggest gripe though is that in Android 10 and 11, at least on Pixel and Android One devices, is a lack of a dedicated gaming mode. It would be really great to see Google add a specific mode in Android 12 that went above and beyond Do Not Disturb by offering more compact notifications or allowing only certain pop-ups to arrive. Oxygen OS has arguably the best dedicated gaming mode on any device, and with more and more people gaming on their devices, it just makes sense to offer these controls. Obviously many OEMs have made their own implementations, which should be lauded, but it's about time we had a system level gaming mode. Heck, even if it were branded Stadia mode, it would make a neat addition with floating menus or just less intrusive pop-ups and system UI portions, allowing you to just focus without game-breaking distractions. Of course, some third-party skins already have a ton of these features baked in already. That said, what would you like to see come in Android 12? With any luck, we'll get to see a developer preview or beta phase for Android 12 as soon as next month, based upon previous year's schedules. Let us know your own wishlist though for Android 12 down in the comments section below. But as always, this is Damien with 95Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.